Hello there. In this video, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and I'm not going to talk about my Q4 e-tron. I am, however, going to talk about its siblings on the MEB platform, the Volkswagen ID4 and the Škoda Enyaq. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video with the press release for the new updated 2024 Q4 e-tron. And this week, on the 10th and 11th of October, Volkswagen and Škoda have followed suit and announced changes to their models. So we're going to have a look at the press releases, have a look through the specs. As I said, this is not my special subject, as I don't have either of these cars. But let's have a little look and see what they're saying. First up then, on the 10th of October, Volkswagen put out a press release for the ID4 and ID5. It was looking at new infotainment system with intuitive operation, new electric drive with more power and efficiency. So that was their headline. And it's saying it's now available to order upgraded ID4 and ID5 with completely new operating concept and new efficiency drive. So there's been an increase in power and efficiency, and pricing is going to start at just over £46,000. Both the ID4 and ID5 will have a new generation of infotainment system, and the Pro and GTX versions will have a new drive system which was first introduced for the ID7. They're talking about an increased range of up to 543 kilometres for the ID4, 546 kilometres for the ID5. The price to performance ratio they're talking about is effectively saying for a little bit more money, you're going to get a fairly decent chunk more power. The next paragraph is pretty marketing-y. So, exceptional technical performance, state of the art, nothing to be desired. There's not actually any details in here, but the details come a bit later on. Now, I'm not saying there was any problem with the ID4 or ID5 user interface before. However, they have chosen to put this pretty early on in the press release. So it's got a significantly enhanced cockpit landscape with the focus on intuitive operation. So they've got a slightly bigger screen, up to 12.9 inches, a new menu structure. This is completely new menu structure. While the digital cockpit and optional augmented reality head-up display have been enhanced. The touch sliders for the aircon and volume control are now illuminated, which I've read a few comments about before. And the new multifunction steering wheel with new operating logic is also new. They've also moved the driving mode selector, so it's going to be on the steering column. There's also going to be a new voice assistant, which will help you to access stuff a bit more easily. There's a new Harman Kardon 480 watt sound system with 10 speakers, including a center speaker and subwoofer, as an option for both models. It's going to be optional on the 77 kilowatt Pro trims and standard on the 4Motion GTX. Next in the press release, an extra 75% of torque. That's a healthy slug of more torque. So the new electric motor, which presumably is the same one as the Q4 e-tron, is giving you 210 kilowatts, which is 286 PS, so 60 kilowatts more power than the previous one. And it's meant to be more dynamic in every situation. The torque has jumped from 310 to 545 newton meters. And given that the old one wasn't that sluggish, this is going to feel a good bit quicker. The GTX models have also got a slight improvement, so 0 to 100 kilometers will be 5.4 seconds. Top speed is the same as before, 180 kilometers an hour. But the Pro models have now been increased to 180 kilometers an hour as well, so I think that's about 112 miles an hour top speed, up from 99 or 100-ish. There's also been some changes to the charging rates, so energy for another 178 kilometers in 10 minutes. So the rear drive ID4 and ID5 models will now still have 135 kilowatt charging, but the all-wheel drive models will benefit from an increase to 175 kilowatt charging. Another important addition, which is also on the Q4, the addition of preconditioning for your battery. So if you're going to be arriving at an HPC charger, you plug that into the sat nav, it'll precondition the battery to get to good operating temperature to get the optimum charging speed when you arrive. And the last bullet point is about it being more comfortable and dynamic at the same time. Finally, they've got the little citations with range and stuff like that. Feel free to pause, have a look at those. I'm not going to read them to you. So the press release includes 9 photos of what I think is the new ID4 and ID5, although much like the Q4 ones, I'm struggling. Now clearly I don't have one of these. Maybe if you're an owner you can spot differences. Struggling. Have they maybe reprofiled the front and rear bumpers a little? Yeah, let me know in the comments if you can see much of a difference there. I personally can't. But they do have a nice Harman Kardon speaker in there now. And the important bit for a lot of people, illuminated sliders for the heating. Moving on to the Škoda press release, which came out on the 11th of October, they've said advanced 2024 model year Enyaq delivers faster charging, more equipment and more range. So up to 16 miles more range across the Enyaq range and up to 82 additional PS. The VRS is faster charging for the 4x4 models, revised infotainment and some changes to the way that the packs work. So again, they're talking faster charging, higher performance, longer range, better equipment. Interestingly, they're retaining the entry-level 60 model with a 58 kilowatt-hour battery, and that's going to have a range of 249 miles, so a 3-mile range increase. And the bigger improvements are going to come up on the 85 models, which are the renamed version of the 80. So the 85 models are going to have 286 PS, so an extra 80 horsepower roughly. 0 to 60 is going to drop to 6.5 seconds, and the VRS model is going to drop to 5.5. Just like the Q4 e-tron and the ID4 ID5, top speed is going to rise for all these models to 112 miles per hour. Also in line with the other MEB cars, the 4-wheel drive models are going to get 175 kilowatt charging, so a boost of 40 kilowatts over what they had before. So 10 to 80% in 29 minutes, a 7-minute improvement. In addition to the extra power and faster charging, there's going to be some improvements to the infotainment system. So a number of screens have been redesigned to make them easier to use and deliver more information, unless you've gone for the 60 model, where presumably it doesn't give you any of that. Got new icons and they've reworked the charging and climate displays. Basically trying to make things a little bit clearer and simpler to operate. They've also slightly reworked the digital cockpit display and the optional head-up display to make them a bit clearer. And new graphics and animations have been introduced to make them easier to read when driving. And they've introduced 2 new models to the range, the Enyaq 60 edition and the Enyaq 85 edition, which come at a cost of £1,615 over the previous version. So the new trims come with stuff like keyless entry and start-stop, adaptive cruise control, full LED matrix lights, tri-zone climate control, an electric boot with the pedal for opening it from underneath. They also come with the heated seats, heated steering wheel, multifunction steering wheel paddles, and electric seats. Just like the Q4 e-tron and the ID4, they've also increased the standard level of equipment. So the Enyaq 60 now comes with driver alert, speed assist, traffic sign recognition, The Sportline Plus, in addition, now come with walkaway locking, rear side airbags. And the VRS comes with extra stuff like window blinds in the back, electric child locks, USB charger in the back, tow bar prep, and travel assist, whatever that is. Finally, they've tried to simplify the ordering. So the sporty trims in Sportline VRS offer 4x4 standard. The 60 and 85 models are rear-wheel drive as standard. And hopefully they've got a table showing the specs for everything, and the bit I really like about this, they actually tell you what the gains are, instead of you having to try and remember what they were before. Well played, Škoda. So what do these changes look like on the outside? Right, don't get your hopes up here. They've released 7 images with the press release. The first one is the badge, which looks very similar to what it did before, I think. Next up, the Sportline badge. Again, looks the same. Thirdly, distance shot. Not seeing much difference there. Front end, not seeing much difference there either. Zoom in, maybe I'll see something. Nope. I'm clearly not familiar enough with the car. And then the last 2 shots are interior shots where they're not giving much away. I'm doing this voiceover whilst looking at Škoda out the window, and genuinely, I'm struggling to spot much of a difference. Nothing surprising there from either two manufacturers then. They've gone with the same increases in power and performance and range across all 3 manufacturers. Nothing comes as a massive surprise. Extra power, better efficiency, more equipment, price is not much different. Nice and sensible, and the overall improvements seem to be a worthwhile gain. What I've not been able to find anywhere is what they plan to do for people who've been waiting for a long time for their cars. Now, I don't know if this is a peculiar problem for the Q4 rather than the ID4, ID5 or Enyaq, but a number of people have been waiting a significant period of time for their Q4 to arrive. And for those people, any orders that are being built after the end of this month, so after week 44, are going to automatically be given the newer model. So if you'd ordered a 40, you'll get a 45. If you ordered a 50, you get a 55. I can't find anything on Volkswagen or Škoda's websites about if they plan to do something similar. Right, that's all I've got for you. What do you guys think? Have you got an ID4 or an Enyaq? Is this a worthwhile improvement? Are you going to rush out and change your car for the newer one? Right, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.